Hey David, the other day I was playing this game, I was shooting some people, but I wanted to save some ammo, so I just knifed this guy. The other people at laser tag did not take kindly to that. Hey everybody, Josh the RV Nerd here at, well, not at Bish's RV, I'm at Ember today. I'm actually squirreled away in their lamination plant. The weather outside was not nice. They were kind enough to invite me down and bring this inside and give us all a very first look at a new floor plan that, according to them, came from an overwhelming number of requests. This is the new 21 MRK, and this is I love this layout. I absolutely love this layout. I've seen it from Grand Design, from Surveyor, from the East-West Alta, from Transcend, and this is perhaps the most upscale, highly equipped of them all. Now, it's also the heaviest and largest and easily most expensive of them all, but naturally I've got a champagne taste but a beer budget. I'm sure a lot of folks can relate to that. Neither here nor there. What are we looking at with this thing? We have a 60 by 80 Murphy bed with those awesome headboard power pockets, full storage all the way around. They've gone lagoon table crazy in these things, and personally, I'm very happy to see it. But the stretch limousine version of this floor plan that we're looking at today doesn't have just a couple's couch. It's got like a three-seater, kind of like a toy hauler party couch with a fold-down center console. All three sections recline, floor flush, carpetless slide, no vents in the floor, and about an acre of countertop space in this thing. The kitchen is too legit to quit, as Mr. Stanley MC Hammer might say. But with a 7-foot ceiling, this little camper does not feel super small. The light color palette helps that. The tall shower with that ceiling is fantastic. And we're looking at it today with basically every available option on it. And I'm going to let you know what's available, what's standard, what's not. But this is the very first run prototype here. They invited me down to get that shot of your input. So I really need you to chime in and let them know what they're doing right, where they nailed it, where they failed it, where they can improve, what you think. And if you appreciate us getting you that footage, say a thank you to Ember and hit that subscribe button or like our video if you haven't done so before, and let's rock! Now, if you plop yourself down at the theater seat, this is roughly what you might see right here. And I'm all the way at the right hand of the triple seat sofa, basically. So you could scooch a little more even directly in front of that sofa. The TV's basically mostly in front of it kind of splits the difference between the middle and the left of the three cushions. But that TV also pivots, and we'll get a demonstration of that in a minute. There is a full privacy shade in that entry door, by the way. One thing Ember does not do that sometimes people ask for, I think potentially reasonably here, I don't necessarily argue with it, is they do not do any sort of privacy curtain across that front open bedroom design here. That is something that I've seen some people DIY before. It's not really that difficult. And with the ceiling structure, I think you could also pull that off. 60 by 80 True Queen across the board. But you have a choice of getting this one like Burger King your way, one of two different ways. You can get it in just the RK, or you can get it in the MRK that we're looking at, the Murphy rear kitchen. Either way, though, basically all that changes is the bed base that's storage just becomes a jackknife sofa that is also storage. Now, if you've got eagle eyes, you might be saying, yeah, but you really can't walk around that bed. You actually really can, depending on what you do with these dual factory included lagoon tables. Now that is something I think is very cool. They made them mount on the side, and they gave you a pair of them. So they're swing out to each individual person. You don't have to worry about bumping each other's fruit juice or whatever the case may be, you know. You can totally remove those, but if you do it just right, at the right height, you can actually leave them there, not have to take them on and off, swing them out when you want them, and still slide open those drawers like I've kind of cracked open and demonstrated right there. Speaking of cracked, that describes my sense of humor. Up top here, though, we've got that Stargazer skylight that the Embers are so well known for. Now, I've seen some other brands start jumping on this bandwagon. All the windows, including that Stargazer skylight, they're a dual-pane Euro-style window, and they're seriously noise-canceling. And if you open up that window, you'll hear the sound of a crescendo, Annie. It lets a lot of noise in here. But moving on past that, let's take a look at this thing in its Murphy function, should you choose to accept that model, Mission Impossible style here. It is a folding bendy bed. That is the immediate, some people are going to go, Dang it, you had me until that. And I hope you appreciate that I will go out of my way to potentially discuss concerning points like that. But I want you to get the best and fairest understanding and estimation of these things possible, and I think that's one of the ways to do it. I love those headboard power pockets also up behind the wardrobe closets. And by default, the Touring Edition, unlike the Overlands, does not have any factory solar. But they are available with a 400-watt solar package that includes a 2,000-watt inverter. And if you get that, it can live power every single outlet in this RV. It'll be able to run like a lot of higher voltage appliances a 1,000-watt inverter can't run, but it is not really intended to be something to like crank up the air conditioner. That's not what the Touring Edition is for. They kind of have some light-duty, untethered functions, some battery tending functions, not like run everything off the grid, brother, kind of functions. Floor vents, not in here. No, sir, no, ma'am, or whatever variety of Hot Pocket you identify as. I personally am either. I float between pepperoni and ham and cheese, and occasionally a lean pocket if I'm trying to make better decisions, but neither here nor there. The overhead cabinets above the bed, you may have noticed, were self-strutted. Well, you'll find that all the way through, and I've seen a lot of brands start cutting that corner right there. I think that's nice that they're not doing that. Now, the Euro windows that we're looking at, I don't know if you got a good view of that off the Stargazer skylight. They have both that day and night shade section that can operate, separately, independently. Full breeze windows across the slide side. Those slide side windows are slide up down windows. Everything else will be the tilt open Euro windows. If, however, you really prefer frameless dual panes, you can get that. When you do that, though, you will switch over, I believe, to blackout roller shades as opposed to the integrated blinds like we just saw right there. Now, up top here, and with a wall controller, because of the 7-foot ceiling making this difficult for some people to reach, you've got that big XL vent fan right there, and you'll find another one of those in the bathroom. I like that's all they use. They only use the big vent fans. They don't ever shortchange anything. And a 7-foot ceiling and the light colors, full 8-foot width, it makes this thing look and feel absolutely enormous. Frankly, I don't know that the camera is really doing that justice. This is going to be a model that once they're available, you are going to want to go get a good look at them. But like I said, this thing has like an acre of countertop space. They do a little height adjustment here. I think to help kind of designate the entertainment separate from the kitchen. I don't know. Some people like that. Some people don't. I don't dislike it by any means. One thing I wanted to show you, though, because if you look, you're like, they have this alcove back here, but nothing to power anything. And then I looked just a little bit further, and I spotted those power outlets over there. That's a perfect little appliance corner. Coffee maker, toaster oven, air fryer maybe. I can think of a bunch of different things that could go back in that space right there. All sealed edge thermofoil countertops also, by the way. Down here, we've got our electric space heating Tootsie toaster, taking the nip out of the air, keeping everything roasty toasty. And that TV right there, that is actually a 12-volt entertainment system. But like I said, it can pivot around. Now, one of the cool things of that is, I have a bunch of speakers all over the place in the RV. Basically, it's a TV and soundbar 12-volt combo wombo kind of job, which is probably like Ted Nugent's way of describing it or something like that. Now, like I said, tons of cabinet space, big 12-volt fridge in this thing, and that, again, is that 3-seat party sofa. And it is a floor flush slide. Another of the major differences between the Overlands and this here, the Touring Edition. Touring Edition doesn't have the trailing arm suspension that requires a cutaway notch up into the body cavity of the RV. So they could use a floor flush slide. They don't have to go jackknife sofa. They can go true theater or floor flush dinette or basically whatever you want. And because that's a big 3-seater couch, I don't see why, if you wanted to put a U-dinette option in here, you should totally be able to do that. And with it being a longer 3-seater, if an adult wanted to stretch across that thing and relax and chill for the day and nap, perfect little napping couch. Plus, you got the fold-down console if you're not cuddle compliant, and you can fold it away if you're like Mr. Richard Vale, regular viewer, who very much looks for couples cuddle compliance. Little Burt Reynolds there for you. Moving in here, let's take a look up in the bathroom. Tall ceiling, means tall shower, and I am very happy to see that. One of the things I think is interesting, they went ahead and maintained over from the Overland series is the Shower Miser water saver system. You'll find that also standard here on the Tourings. That is also a shower that gives you pretty decent elbow room because it's a little bit bigger rectangular shower, not a radius. Now, speaking of elbow room, I've seen plenty of versions of this floor plan now, and usually the space around the toilet is very tight. And don't get me wrong, this is not a baby got back super duper bazooka butt friendly bathroom, but it ain't bad. I was actually pleasantly surprised with the elbow room that I had in this one. Now, you've got an Octopus Fight Club coat hanger thing for your towels over here up next to that open-face linen storage. And I don't have it turned on, but you have a little amber-colored night light right there. And once again, you have the big XL vent fan above that backlit morning mirror. So you don't have to necessarily stab yourself directly in the eyes with, like, you know, Gizmo, bright light, Gizmo, Mogwai kind of lighting. That, by the way, is the full technical name of it. I know it's a mouthful, but I am legally required to say it all. And when you close the slide up, the road mode function and accessibility in this is as good as you could possibly hope for, I think. The fact is, I mean, not only can you get in here and navigate, two people could get it. Like, it's a couple's model that a couple can actually use, like, at a travel stop or roadside or something like that. 100% of the kitchen remains accessible and functional. If you need to make a travel stop, hit a shower, use the bathroom, whatever the case may be. You can do all of that here very, very easily. Couldn't decide what I wanted to say, so more of my nerdism gibberish poured out of my mouth. But this is something I think is going to be a major thing. I've said this is not the lightest weight. This is not the smallest version of this floor plan I've seen. You might argue, though, that it's the most highly appointed, highly equipped, and highly thought out version of this floor plan. The fact that you can even still maintain full use of the bed in travel access. And again, you'll get better walk around capability if you remove those lagoon style tables. But the fact is, you don't have to do any of that. This is one of the easiest, classiest small campers I think I've seen in a very long time. I love this thing. Now, you might hear a little bit of shop noise behind me. We are in a live production facility. This is actually Ember's lamination plant that I'm in right now. They had a little space off to the side here, and they were kind enough to pull this inside on an otherwise dreary, bad weather day. And I appreciate it, because, one, we get to take a look at this, and two, we get a better look at it. So, quick thank you, Ember. Now, you saw the weights and the measures there. What's it going to take to tow this baby? Well, opinions are going to vary a little bit. I think, at minimum, you're going to want a good, heavy half-ton. And the reason I kind of stress the word heavy, like Marty to Doc Brown and Back to the Future, was the fact that it's not so much the actual weight of this one, although that's a factor, it's the hitch weight. This RV has a couple things that are adding a chunk of hitch weight to it. Embers are never very light in the hitch. First of all, up front here, this isn't really a weight item, but they do have the smart jack system. So basically, it will remember how high the RV was when you got unhitched from your vehicle. So when you are breaking camp, you push the button and it goes back to the proper height to get hitched up. It's just a nice, simple, easy thing. You do have an exchangeable Versa coupler up here. I don't think a lot of people are going to change from the ball hitch, but if you wanted to make that ride higher or lower, you could. Now, the gearbox you're looking at, we're going to get that open in a few minutes to give you a better look at it. That is technically optional, but I've been told that to date, Ember has not built a single Touring Edition RV without that feature. And I love all the little, like, the Touring Edition, again, they kind of soften the edges of the rough and wild Overland series, but it still has that Ember flair, like with that, you see that etched kind of aluminum, I don't know, fairing or wing out, whatever you want to call it there. The dual pane, max airflow opening Euro windows, they are back for 23, no supply issues there. You have turn signal safety lighting, and this RV also has blind spot assist radar. So that's what these little vertical lightsabers here will do for you. Now, they're not lit up currently because there's nothing in the blind spot of this RV. Towing extension mirrors help, but this is another level of peace of mind. When we get on the back side of the RV, you'll actually see a couple big old sensors that stick out, and it will check to make sure there's nobody in your blind spot, so you know it is okay to change lanes instead of just kind of guessing. But this drop frame up front right here, that's another one of those things that adds some hitch weight to this one. So keep your vehicle specs in mind, not just tow rating, but payload. Underbelly's enclosed. We've got tank heaters, radiant barrier. These are 0 to 100 degree rated, tested, and proven. The new quick drop stabilizers, Ember was the first I saw prototype those, I'm really glad to see them start making landfall out there in the marketplace. You also see you've got a fully enclosed docking center, but that drop frame is what's going to give us a really nice sized front pass-through compartment. And in that compartment, one of the available options that you have on this is a 270 amp hour game changer battery. And if you're looking and you're paying attention, there's definitely room in here for one, and I think two more of those. If you wanted to have close to 900 amp hours of battery power protected inside the RV, there is room to do it. Now, this is equipped with their optional, what they call off-grid package, which gives it that 2,000 watt inverter and a pair of 200 watt solar panels up on the roof that we'll see in, you saw them, I think, in the floor plan in a flash. I can't remember. I love that little full glow beam across the front pass-through compartment. And one of my only nitpicks is the fact that those baggage doors, I don't mind that they open sideways, but they don't have any kind of like holdback. But at the same time, because they're all the way forward on the RV, I don't know that they really have the space and opportunity to put a holdback on those. So this is the X-ray vision version of the gearbox here. Now, if you don't go with the lithium batteries, you would have normally your battery wires on the right-hand side up front here, and they give you 2 levels. So if you want to put a pair of batteries in there, you could. I don't know if a pair of 6 volts will fit. I know a pair of 12 volts will definitely fit. And it'll have that little toolbox up top. Now, you might notice they're using all aluminum like corner moldings. They're not using plastic corner moldings or anything like that. They're also not using butyl tape as a sealant where like the walls meet below those gray corner outlines basically. And if you don't know what that is, butyl tape is something that most manufacturers use, but it dries out, it rots out over time, and you have to seal on the outside of the RV. It loses its interior seal. They're basically using like an Eternabond kind of tape, and that stuff don't quit. Once you put it down, like you can't see any of it, but they have that at like every corner of this RV, anywhere that there's a seam. Shorter RVs like this kind of often struggle for awning space, and Ember made a hard call here, and I'm curious to know if it's the right call or not. They extended the awning past the entry door, which I like, but that also means that because of that awning arm, they did not have room to put a window beside the bed. And you're looking at this going, what are you talking about, dummy? Well, that is a hanging closet behind that Ember logo. Like, there's no room there. If there was a window in it, all you'd see, as you know, obviously, is Uncle Gary's sundresses. So, I think they went the right way with it, but that's my 2 cents. Now, the RV does include TPMS, tire pressure monitoring, and you've got Goodyear Endurance radials here, but this is one of the major differences between the Overland Embers and these Touring Editions that we're looking at right now. Touring Edition does not use the Kurt off-road trailing arm suspension package. That's a great system, but this is an RV that's really designed for like highway use and using in more parks rather than off pavement. So they went with a tandem torsion axle and suspension system. It's not leaf springs, it's torsion suspension. And that is it's one of the best systems I personally feel for highway use. And there's a reason some really high dollar brands use that. The camp kitchen we're looking at, once again, optional. They have made camp kitchens optional in every Touring Edition. And not only do you have an outside camp kitchen, outside shower in that docking center, you've also got a high pressure sprayer port there. So I suppose if you wanted to do a little bit of power bidet action under the awning, you might find the neighbors vacate the premises very, very quickly afterwards. That's a pro tip there for you from your Uncle Josh. Now, the telescopic extension ladder here, that has become standard, but not actually the one we're looking at. This is, again, still in the prototype phase, so they haven't actually just assigned a ladder to it. So I grabbed a ladder from their prototype bay, and this is actually one of the ladders that they had tested and decided not to use. It obviously looks the part, but you might notice it lacks the bracket to hook up to that safety bracket system. So I got you some selfie stick extension go-go gadget footage of the roof there. But I'm not going to be going up a ladder that's not safe and secure to get up there. I climb a lot of ladders as it is, and there does come a point where even I'm like, all right, that's stupid and not safe. Let's not do that. Even the spare tire's a Goodyear, by the way. They have a full bumper and the 300-pound rated extension hitch down here. This is a single sewer outlet camper as well. Your kitchen, your bathroom, everything drains right here. And that is something I know a lot of people look for, a lot of people are really, really excited about. Now, if you've seen a lot of Ember footage, you probably pretty much know how this thing is assembled. But if you're new to this, let me give you a quick rundown of some construction points. So one of Ember's main goals is to make a trailer they call generational, something that you could hand down. Like if you have this thing for a long time, you want to give it to your kids, the grandkids, or whatever, that's the goal that they're working toward. And to accomplish that, they're working to use more materials that just basically don't age out. This RV is almost completely laminated. The roof is the only part of this RV that is not laminated. They did go with a traditional wood truss and wood decking on the roof structure. That actually was not their first choice. They tried some other things, but they could not find something as strong and load-bearing as just a traditional RV roof structure. The laminated structure they use in the Overlands, you can't really duct the air conditioning without significantly cutting holes and decreasing the structure in that roof, and they didn't want to do that. But the walls are Asdel on the inside and outside, aluminum framed, laminated, block foam insulated. The flooring actually is laminated and completely composite, not even block foam in the floor. So like you hear some laminated floors, and in the history of the RV industry, there have been some that have not been built properly. They get weak and they become soft, and I call them trampoline floors because you feel like you can bounce on the things you're moonwalking. And I don't mean like Michael Jackson, but Annie, are you okay? Regardless. The what they've done here is it is still like Asdel top and bottom, which most manufacturers don't do. But it is also this extra thick, pure composite core that actually has, like one of the tricks with Asdel is it doesn't have the screw retention. You can rip screws out of it more easily than wood, but the composite floor they're using actually had nearly twice the screw retention of plywood. You want a good house, you start with a good foundation, and they're probably using what is perhaps the most expensive floor in the industry to give you the best foundation you can get out there. And crap on a spatula. I nearly forgot. I told you we were going to take a look at the blind spot checker radar basically in the back of the RV. I didn't specifically point that out. I want you to know that that's not like another taillight. That is actually a sensor. GM helped design that thing, and they've integrated that here into their RV. And once again, those little glow light beam lightsaber lights on the front of the RV, they will ignite if there's something there you can't see, like warning, almost like the blind spot detection on a lot of side mirrors in a lot of vehicles nowadays, except not mine because it's old and I'm too cheap to update. So remember, when you're in a pinch, knife saves ammo, but neither here nor there. That's one of those jokes like, oh. Anyway, circling back to the beginning of the video. Never mind, I don't know if you remember that long ago. I've talked a lot since then. We, Ember, needs your input. Let us know what you think about this thing. Ember is actively monitoring the comments on this video. They want to see what you like, where they could improve, and what they're doing well. Share the good with the bad, as I've tried to do here for you. Now, again, this is early access footage. At the time this video releases, I don't know the price of it because it's not finalized. We won't have any in stock on our website for you to check. But I'm still going to leave you a link in the video description because if you're watching this 3, 4, 5 months from now, we probably have some in stock. And if we do, we will have pricing on our website. Again, though, will tell you, this is easily going to be the most expensive version of this floor plan you will find out there. So I will also leave you some links to 2 different Grand Design versions of this, East-West version, Surveyor's version, and they're all gonna have the same general idea, but they're all gonna execute a little differently. And I'd love it if you kind of took a look at 1 or 2 of those also and said, this one's my favorite or that one's my favorite, and let me know why. So until next time, take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.